Chapter 25 Maniac, Magee. In the morning, Grayson bought Maniac an Egg McMuffin and a large orange juice. He bought the same thing for himself, so they ate breakfast together in the baseball equipment room. You sent me to bed without a story last night, Maniac kidded. Grayson brushed a yellow speck of egg from his white stubble. I don't got no stories, I told you. You wanted to be a baseball player. That ain't no story. Well, did you become one? Grayson drank half of his orange juice. Well, just the minors, he muttered. Maniac yelped. The minors? Yeah, couldn't never make it to the majors. There was afraid weariness in the old man's words, as though they had long since worn out. Grayson, the minors? Man, you must have been good. What position did you play? Grayson said, pitcher. This word, unlike the others, would not wear out at all, but it was fresh and robust. It startled Maniac. It declared, I am not what you see. I am not a line-laying, pickup driving, live at the Y, bean-brain park hand. I am not a rickety, whiskered worm chow. I am a pitcher. Maniac had sensed there was something more to the old man. Now he knew what it was. Grayson, what's your first name? The old man fidgeted a bit. Earl. But call me Grayson like everybody. He looked at the clock on the wall. Gotta go. Grayson, wait. I'm late for work. You ought to be in school. And he was gone. Grayson returned at noon, bearing Zeps and sodas, and was not allowed to leave until he told Maniac one story about the minor leagues. So he told the kid about his first day in the minors with Bluefield, West Virginia, in the Appalachian League, Class D. You can't get no lower than that, he told the kid. That's where he broke in. Don't have D ball no more. He told about thumbing a ride to Bluefield. When he got there, going to a gas station attendant and asking which way to the ballpark. And the gas station man told him. Sure, but first I got to ask you something. You're a new ball player, right? Just coming on board? And Grayson said, Yep, that's right. And the man said, I thought so. Well, then, you're just going to want to make sure you stop right over there. And he pointed across the street. That there restaurant, that's the Blue Star. You just go right in there and sit yourself down and tell the waitress you want the biggest steak in the menu. And anything else you want, too, because it's all on the house. The Blue Star treats every new rookie in his first meal in town for free. And he gave a wink. They want your business. Great, thought Grayson. And he did just that. Only when he got up and left, the restaurant owner came running after him and down the street, all mad at Grayson for skipping out. And when Grayson told him he was a rookie just picking up his free first meal, the owner got even madder. It seems like this gas station man was a real card, and he liked to welcome dumb rookies with his little practical joke. And that's how it came to be that when the Bluefield Bullets took the field that day, they did so without the services of their new pitcher, who was back in the kitchen of the Blue Star restaurant doing dishes to work off a 16-ounce steak, half-broiled chicken, and 2 pieces of rhubarb pie. After a story like that, Maniac couldn't just stay behind. So he tagged along with Grayson and went back to work. He helped the old man raise a new fence around the children's petting farmyard. When the park superintendent came around and asked about the kid, Grayson said it was his nephew, who came to visit for a while. The superintendent who managed the budget said, Well, we can't pay him, you know. And Grayson said, Fine, no problem. And that was that. From then on, Maniac was on the job with Grayson every afternoon. They raised fences, they mended fences, they hauled stone, they patched asphalt, they trimmed trees, they ate breakfast, lunch, and dinner together, sometimes in the equipment room, and sometimes at a restaurant. And they spent their weekends together. All the while, Grayson would tell him baseball stories, insisting all along, I ain't got no stories. He told him about the Appalachian League and the Carolina League and the Pecos Valley League and the Buckeye and the Mexican Leagues, about the Paducah Twin Oaks and the Natchez Pelicans and the Jessup Georgia Browns and the Laredo Lariats, all minor league teams, minor league baseball. Sleazy hotels, sleazy buses, sleazy stadiums, sleazy fans, sleazy water buckets, curveballs, and bus fumes and dreams. Dreams of the majors, clean sheets, and an umpire at every base. Funny stories, and happy stories, and sad stories. Just plain baseball stories. The happiest story was the one about Willie Mays' very last at-bat in the minor leagues, before he went up to play for the New York Giants in immortality. Well, it was old Grayson himself who had the last crack at Mays in the 9th inning of a game with Indianapolis. And what did Grayson do? All he did was set the Say Hey Kid down swinging on 3 straight curveballs. The saddest story was the one about the scout who came down from the Toledo Mudhens. The Mudhens had a roster slot, and the scout had the notion to fill it with the pitcher with the wicked curveball by the name of Earl Grayson. This was Grayson's big chance for the Mudhens, who were class AAA ball, one short step from the major leagues. The night before the game, Grayson spent half of it on his knees by his bed praying. And even 5 minutes before the game in the dugout, he bent down pretending to tie his shoe, and he closed one eye and prayed, "Please let me win this ball game," which was something, since he had never gone to church in his life. God must have fainted, he told Maniac. And indeed, maybe God did, or maybe he only listened to major leaguers, because Grayson took the mound and proceeded to pitch the flat-out awfulest game of his life. His curveball wasn't curving, his sinker wasn't sinking, and his knuckleballer wasn't knuckling. The batters were teeing off as if it were the invasion of Normandy Beach. Before the third inning was over, the score was 12-0, and Grayson was in the showers. He was 27 years old then, and that was the closest he ever got to the big show. He hung on for 13 more years. He was a baseball junkie, winding up in some hot tamale league in Guanajuato, Mexico, until his curveball could no longer bend around so much as a chili pepper, and his fastball was slower than a senorita's answer. He was 40, out of baseball, and for all intents and purposes, out of life. All those years in the game, and all he was fit to do was clean a restroom, or sweep a floor, or lay a chalk line, or far, far down the road, tell stories to a wide-eyed, homeless kid.